TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zymet, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zymet and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsurancegui.com. And Eldercare Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. And welcome to TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 16. Honored and privileged to have with us Mary Hess, DeKalb County Township Supervisor. Mary, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it again. We know you're very busy over there. You know, I remember when you came to the radio station years ago, I was trying to figure out, what does the township do? What is the township all about? So we're going to talk about the township and what it's all about. And of course, we have the oak tree of the newscaster, Dan Lynch, with us as well. Dan, we'll get to you in just a moment. But Mary, let's talk about who you guys serve now. We're talking about the DeKalb Township here. DeKalb Township covers an area of 35.32 square miles and serving residents in the city of DeKalb, unincorporated DeKalb, and southwest corner of Sycamore. Township boundaries are Lucas Road on the west, Webster Road on the east, Goodler Road on the south, and slightly north of Ridge Road on the north. Approximately 30 miles of road within the township are maintained by the DeKalb Township Road District. The DeKalb Township General Assistant Department serves 17 of 19 townships in DeKalb County. So the first thing I learned about that, Mary, was we have 19 townships in DeKalb County.
We do have 19 townships in DeKalb County, and I thought that was a lot until yesterday when I found out LaSalle County has 33 townships.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we're a little bit less, but
okay.
We manage a lot.
Now, I want to ask you later about consolidating too, but let's want to remind people from your website, welcome to DeKalb Township. You've been serving since 1850. Proud to continue the tradition of offering effective, accessible service to more than 46,000 residents. Now, is that about right, Mary? The 46,000? Is that pretty accurate?
That may be a little less since the latest census count.
Right, I was going to say, okay, a little bit less there. Whether you're looking for information about property tax assessment, we're going to talk about that, unincorporated roads, or financial assistance, you can be assured you'll be able to speak directly with the person who can get you the answers you need. I love how you mentioned this part. Knowing where to go in local government can be overwhelming, so think of us as the people who can help you navigate the terrain. We're here to help you, even if you aren't sure whether you're in the right place or not. So
right.
Great.
People can call us, and our staff is educated enough with the resources in this community that if we can't help someone, we're going to do a warm handoff to another agency that can help, so they're not playing that phone game of calling. And what we find is that when people don't get someone who can navigate them to the right resources, we'll have a person call us 3 times and we'll say, you've already called us, we have your information in the system, because when you're in crisis, you're just calling and trying to get a solution to that.
Right.
What your problem is.
That's very good to know that too. And real quickly now, you were elected in 2021, now re-elected here again this past year, 52% of the vote. Why'd you run a second time? What made you want to retain office?
I love the work of being a supervisor. I started projects and wanted to finish them. I think that in the first 4 years, the township grew significantly to provide services to the community that weren't previously being provided. And so we were providing taxpayers with a greater return on investment, and I wanted to take that even further.
Oh, very good. And we're going to talk about that too. I'm impressed by looking at your resume. I never really looked at this, Mary, but talk about a master of many trades. I always, when I was a kid, I remember hearing the term Renaissance man. I wanted to be a Renaissance man because I knew a little bit about everything. But tell us about that. You went to Illinois State University, Masters in Science, Health, Physical Education, and Recreation, emphasis on rehabilitation across disability spectrum.
Yes, so I actually studied something called therapeutic recreation. So it's working with individuals with disabilities with the modality of recreation to try to help individuals have the greatest quality of life as possible. So the Kishwaukee, the DeKalb Park District has the Kishwaukee Special Recreation Association that you may have heard of. So they provide services specifically for individuals with disabilities. So that's one, venue of therapeutic recreation that exists in our community now.
That is great.
RAMP does a variety of things for individuals with disabilities. So just because a person has a disability doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to pursue a lot of the same opportunities the rest of us can.
That's great, very well put there. And then you went to Illinois State University also, and then a bachelor in recreation and park. When I saw that, I thought about Parks and Recreation TV show. I don't know if you watched that show or not, but with the concentration on therapeutic recreation. So again, it's great to have such a diverse background like that.
Yep. And then my master's degree is in recreation and park administration. And so that's where I learned kind of the more administrative duties that have helped me in my current role.
All right, very good. We're going to learn more about the DeKalb Township, but Dan's going to give us some news here, and then feel free to comment yourself, Mary. We want to go over all the groups you've been involved with. Just unbelievable. Meals on Wheels, probably DeKalb, Camp Power Summer Camp will go on. But Dan, what do you got for news, my friend?
A DeKalb man is facing 11 felony charges after authorities say he uploaded videos of children being sexually abused and a photo to the Twitter platform. Investigators say they began looking into 23-year-old Sharyan K. Johnson back in July after receiving a cyber tip from the Illinois Attorney General's Crimes Against Children Task Force, which traces content to his accounts and cell phone. Deputies executed a search warrant at his home in Kirkland, seizing electronic devices before taking him into custody last week. He is in DeKalb County Jail, waiting for further court proceedings.
You know, we had DeKalb Police Chief David Byrd here last week, or 2 weeks ago. But I'm assuming there's a special division for a crime like this, internet crime. I don't know if they have internet cops or how they do that, because...
Well, agencies, yeah, they have entire divisions. Mm-hmm. Since the internet has taken over our lives in the last 25 years.
Well, it's good to know you're catching these bad guys. That's good to hear that, too. Well, let's just skip over that. What else you got there? What else?
Well, okay, let's go to Tails Humane Society.
There we go. All right.
You walk dogs for them, too.
I do.
Okay. They're hosting their Mutt Strut 5K run walk October 4th, Hopkins Park. Participants can run or walk, or choose the 1 mile option. That's the TD Ryan option.
Yes.
With registration fees supporting shelter operations and care for displaced pets. The event begins at 9. You can register now on their website, or if you want to dither, you can go there at 8 and register. Again, proceeds benefit Tails Humane Society.
First time the word dither has been used on the podcast. Well done, Dan. We appreciate that. Now, Mary, when I look at your resume here, talk about some of the time you spent. Family Services Agency, you're on there right now. The Community Involvement Camp Power Steering Committee. What is that now?
I was actually involved in the creation of Camp Power back in 2014. I served on Chief Lowry's Youth in Need Task Force, where they were, the task force was looking for ways to prevent and minimize juvenile delinquency. And there was data that supported that in the northwest part of the city that there was reoccurring crime with the juvenile population. And so I used my recreation background.
There you go.
And proposed that we do a summer camp so that we could engage youth in positive activities during the summer, build relationships with them, expose the youth to new things. And so I was able to get the buy-in of Kishwaukee Hospital, the Wellness Department, and Northern Illinois University. And so we launched that in 2014, and I am so incredibly proud to say that it continues today.
I love that. That's great. I love hearing you back it up with what studies have shown that. That's awesome to know that. Now, you did the Safe Excellence, DCP Safe Excellence Award, the Cal Police Department Youth Involved, Juvenile Justice Council. I thought this one, the Huntley Park Neighborhood Watch. Tell us about that, Mary. Did you start that? Is that where your neighborhood is? And
I used to live in Huntley Park, and they're one of my very good friends. Her house was burglarized, and she was home at the time, so very scary situation. She didn't even hear them break in. She was upstairs. And so after that, I felt that if we were a tighter neighborhood and knew our neighbors and we could be looking out for each other, that maybe we could prevent another neighbor from having to go through such a traumatic situation. So it evolved into us having picnics together, and the police department was super helpful and would come and talk to us. So it was, it's just a way to improve the safety in your neighborhood.
That's great. My wife over on 10th Street, and years ago, my wife, they used to have block parties there. They would shut down the whole street and have a block party. And Dan, you're on Bar Boulevard over there. Tell us now, do you know your neighbors well? Are you guys looking out for each other over there?
Well, Mike Travel was the mayor.
Oh, Mike was right.
Of Bar Boulevard. I'll have you know. But I don't know if my neighborhood has a name like Mary's neighborhood. Does your neighborhood have a name?
No, I live right by the Pleasant Street neighborhood. I would love to live in the Pleasant Street neighborhood, but I don't. We're over there by Little John School, though. But
well, my neighbors are solid gold. I live right by Huntley Middle School.
Okay.
Mary, right on South Second Farm. So.
And we could go on and on with Mary's accomplishments here, but I see the DEKALB Youth Football League. I like that one too. And because you're talking about sports and juvenile, you can see Dan during the summer has a Saturday baseball game with his kids and the neighborhood kids, and he just kind of got it together. And other fathers showed up, and they played baseball on Saturdays. It's a great thing. Now you have 3 sons, right? And a daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law in Kylie is in the American National Guard. That's wonderful.
My son Kyle is in the Ohio National Guard.
3 sons and daughter-in-law.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And then my daughter-in-law Jessica is in the Air Force.
Wow.
So they live in Dayton, but she was just her job responsibilities or duties with the Air Force were recently changed. So she's currently in San Antonio at a training to become a recruiter. So hopefully in the next week or so, we're going to learn where they're going to be relocated.
Oh, wow. Well, if you don't know what you're doing in the Air Force, you just wing it. Hey, I'll be here all week. That's a joke there. Said Hayden's at the University of Illinois?
Hayden is at the University of Illinois. He just started his senior year, but this semester he was very fortunate to be accepted into the travel abroad program. So he is studying in Vienna for the semester.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
Yes. I just talked to him yesterday, and I talk to him about once a week. He's been there since Labor Day weekend.
Has he been in a gondola yet?
He hasn't mentioned it.
That's the first thing I would do when I get there. And Seth is a student at Kishwaukee College, right?
Yes. He just started his second year at Kishwaukee College, and just yesterday we were together, and he was talking about all the resources there because he's not sure what he wants to do, and so he's looking into the career counseling center there, and which I love. When we have DeKalb County is such a resource-rich community. Any need you have, there is a agency that addresses that. But what, at the town, whether it's at the township or any other social service agency, the problem that continues to exist year after year is people are unaware of our resources and don't know how to seek them out. And so one of the things that it really does drive me insane, Dan, you mentioned social media earlier and kind of the perils of it, is these public pages where people can post anonymously and go on there, asking where do you do X, Y, and Z, where if you can access Facebook, you can access a Google search to find it. We have a great resource with the Kishwaukee United Way, 211, where you can call or go online and search for resources. So, we have all these wonderful agencies that offer great things, but people have to reach out.
Yeah, I saw a Facebook post the other day. Do you know when the school district is going to distribute whatever it was? And it's like, why wouldn't you contact the school district and find that out? All right, that's great to know. That's good to know. And before we go back to the news, too, I want to have something I didn't know is the township takes care of cemeteries, right? Many townships, including DeKalb, own and manage cemeteries, require a high level of care and specialized education to manage. Tell us about that.
We do. So DeKalb Township owns and operates 2 cemeteries. One is Evergreen Cemetery.
You put up a beautiful new sign, right?
Yes, on the corner of 7th and Taylor. Evergreen Cemetery is closed. We haven't done any burials in there in a number of years.
Oh.
I want to give proper kudos to Jane Levinsky for creating those cemetery signs. Jane is a good friend of the township and was invited to get involved with our cemeteries, and that was her major contribution.
Okay, really looks
they
great.
Are beautiful, yes. And our other cemetery is Oakwood, which is behind the First Congregation Church, which is across from Clinton Rosette.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's next to the Elwood House.
Okay.
A lot of people think that the cemetery belongs or is owned by that church, but it's actually owned by the township.
I thought it was owned by the church. Very good. Okay.
Yep. And so the signs now say Township of DEKALB on them to help individuals understand that. And a very exciting thing happened this year with Oakwood Cemetery is a wonderful community member by the name of Gretchen Moore. She has a headstone at Oakwood Cemetery, and through just her reaching out to, and after I was elected the first time, to ask some questions about the cemetery, there were some concerns that she had, and so we just kind of, our relationship evolved, and we were talking about, potential things that could happen with the cemetery because they don't generate a lot of revenue when you only do a couple burials a year.
Right.
And Gretchen attends First United, or the church there, and so it's a perfect marriage where she donated money to the township, and we bought a parcel of land from the church, and we are turning that into something that's going to be called Peace Park. And that is going to mainly focus on the burial of cremains, because more and more people every year are choosing to be cremated versus
Right.
body burials, just because it's more affordable. And, we don't have what we used to have in our communities where we were born and raised in the same community. There's people.
Right, people have plots where the whole family gets ready together.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
you
just
don't
not
see that.
happening
Yeah.
anymore. So we are going to have a variety of options at Peace Park, where we're going to have a columbarium. And a columbarium is basically a mausoleum for
Oh, okay.
for cremains. So people can buy a niche that you can do a 1 urn in it or 2 urns. And then it's, sealed off where their urns are. And so they'll, forever remain there. The columbarium will also have what's called an ossuary. So it's basically a community grave. So rather than the cremains going into an urn, they go into a felt bag and get put on a level of the columbarium where there'll be multiple, individuals' cremains will be situated there, but they'll be memorialized on
The plaque.
yeah. And then, so those are 2 options that will be offered with the columbarium. And then eventually, the woods behind Oakwood Cemetery, there'll be a path back there, and we're turning that into a scattering garden. So people who choose to have their ashes interred into the earth, they'll just be able to be scattered back there, and that'll be memorialized on a plaque too. And then that provides a really affordable way
Wow.
to dispense of ashes.
Who's that lady? What's that lady's name? What a great idea.
Gretchen Moore.
Gretchen Moore. What a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So Becky and I just went to the grove there in Sycamore, the grove for the soldiers that are killed. They have a tree for each soldier there.
Yes.
It's just beautiful.
Yes.
What a great idea. All right, Dan, what do you got for news, my friend? What else you got?
A Cortland police officer was honored. Officer Robert Harris received the Award of Merit for his work on a multi-state child pornography investigation that began in late 2023. And for over 2 years, he logged more than 1,200 hours of investigative work, coordinated with the FBI, Homeland Security, U.S. Marshal's Office, also executed over 50 search warrants and identified 17 offenders across a 7-state region.
Wow.
Main suspect was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and additional prosecutions are, I was going to say forthcoming, but they're pending.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go at 1,200 hours. Boy, that's amazing. All right, on a lighter note, Mary, let's talk about one of the things you guys do are roads. There are 3 main services of DEKALB Township. We handle construction and maintenance of unincorporated roads. We offer financial assistance, town service, and community events. We conduct property assessments. Now, the road district and the township are actually 2 different units of government. Tell us about that. Overseen by 1 board of trustees. Together, we account for under 4% of the property taxes provided by a myriad of services under 3 pillars mentioned, right? So those
Yes.
are 3 are DEKALB Township supervisor's office and the property tax information.
Right, the DeKalb Township Road District, the supervisor's office, the DeKalb Township Road District is their own taxing body. They operate independently. The highway commissioner has really a lot of independence in decision-making. The board doesn't really oversee, and he doesn't answer to the board.
Do they recommend, the board recommend?
He does bring a lot of stuff to the board, but they don't necessarily have to vote on it.
Okay.
But he believes in transparency and making sure that they're aware of everything that's going on with the road district. Craig Smith is the highway commissioner.
And the highway commission and the road crew are responsible for construction and maintenance roads in unincorporated DeKalb, as well as the roads that are outside the city limits. A little bit of Sycamore as well. That means about 30 miles of roads we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And I love this little release I saw here. This week, the township roads will be restriped. Once completed, will provide clearer visibility reflecting at night's township roads. How can you help? Watch for flaggers and slow down. That's a good
Yes,
one.
yes.
Watch for temporary lane closure. This one I love. Do not drive on the wet paint.
Yes, and I think that's, they're posting that from experience. Yes.
Because I saw that, because you have the code set up, but if people are changing lanes, they might drive over it. And does the paint actually stick to the tire?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yes, it doesn't take too long to dry, but if
Okay.
you drive over it immediately, then yes.
And this one also, we living in a railroad town where we're talking about 80 trains going through DeKalb every day. Recently, we've received several calls regarding rough railroad crossings. The road near railroad crossings is under the jurisdiction of the federal government, and the road district prohibits from making improvements to that property. Is that right, Mary? So you can't do anything around railroads there?
No, and I think that post was relating to Nelson Road.
Yes.
Or Nelson Road was, that was pretty rough for a while. And
Okay.
that's a township road, but they, Union Pacific operates the railroad.
Very
crossing.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very great. All right, Dan, what else you got for news here? It's great having Mary here that we learn about the township and what they do.
Well, speaking of roads, a DeKalb man was cited for no mud flaps.
Oh, no.
Rig. September 14th, just after 6 p.m., Ogle County deputies conducted a traffic stop. This was at Route 64 and Route 26. After the investigation, deputies placed 45-year-old Dario Arguelles under arrest for no valid driver's license. He was also cited for no mud flaps.
That's really a thing, the no mud flaps?
With a notice to appear in court on most trucks in Illinois.
Are you required to have the mud flaps?
Yeah.
You don't have to have the Playboy girl on the thing. That's a
Or
different.
Quick Draw McGraw.
Or quick draw.
No, I remember that from the 70s.
What purpose do they serve?
Okay, with the mud flapping from the tires, right?
DOT, for instance, if you look at the checklist of DOT violations,
Department of Transportation for folks.
yes, thank you. For instance, on the bumper, if there are pebbles or if there are rocks and you haven't swept those off, you can be cited for that.
Is that right?
So my guess is the mud flaps for the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you think of the actual rig, the Peterbilt tractor part, you don't need mud flaps there. Because you have the 53-foot trailer.
Right.
You need them on the trailer in that situation.
Okay. Yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Excellent.
Wow. Oh, what else? You got another one there, and we'll go back to Mary.
Funeral services have been announced for former Illinois Governor Jim Edgar. I did not find out about this till yesterday.
I have them in our
Been a
old.
lot in the news nationally. The public can pay respects. We're taping this. Can I say when we're taping?
Yeah,
this?
sure.
Okay, today's the 18th. It's tomorrow the 19th, 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
He was the 38th governor of Illinois from 91 to 99, and did a lot of good things when he was in office. A lot of reaching across the aisle there. The Republican governor.
79, yep.
Yeah.
I believe he was afflicted with pancreatic cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, 91 to 99 terms, and then it was George Ryan after.
Right. You're right after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But Edgar never got arrested. Never got arrested or put in the who's cow either. So
He's an anomaly.
it is an anomaly. Now, assessments. When I see this, I immediately, Mary, think of the Monopoly game. I'm an assessment. You get the assessment card. But obviously, we're not going to go into all this. But you guys have this all covered. You have frequently asked questions. I love the first question. Why are my taxes so high? But again, you explain that, don't you? Why the taxes are? Why do my taxes keep going up? Will I be notified if my assessment changes? A really good one I saw is I just got my tax bill. Is it too late to complain about my assessment? It is, right? Then you got to wait till the following year?
You know,
Again, this isn't your forte.
right. I wish I knew the answer to that, and I don't want to give incorrect information.
But you guys got it all right here.
Right.
It's all frequently asked questions.
Yeah, Rich Dyer is our elected assessor, and his office is, we're all at the same place, 2323 South 4th Street.
And here's Rich, and then Rich is an elected position, right? The
Correct.
assessor. Isn't
Yes.
it? It says, identify and access all parcels of property within the township boundaries. So every piece of property, he's going to assess that.
Commercial, industrial, residential, all of
Everything,
it.
okay. My office is autonomous from the township board. So you explained that earlier, right? So he kind of works independently.
Well, the road district does, and then the assessor, because the assessor is merely, not merely, but is assessing properties, it really doesn't provide any need for board input. The only thing that really involves the board is when we do our budget in the early part of the new calendar year.
Okay.
The assessor's budget fits into the overall township budget, and so we need board approval on all expenditures. So that's
It
really.
sounds like a really busy office. And by the way, it's at 2323 South 4th Street if you want to call about assessments, 815-758-5454, 758-5454. But has he got a couple of assistants? This sounds like it would be a very busy thing to do.
Yes, there's 3 other people that work in the assessor's office, 1 deputy assessor. There is the field rep, so you may see the white township SUV out and about, and a guy in a orange or green vest walking around with a tape measure on properties, or looking at maybe an addition that was put on to a residence.
I just said that on Penn Street where I'm at. I just said the guy today, he had a little tape measure was out there and his little yellow
Yeah,
vest
that
there.
was probably him. And
Oh, okay.
so, when there are improvements made to properties, they have to be reassessed. And so he will go around town and do that legwork, and then in the office is where they, put the numbers together and figure out what that assessment's going to be.
On a lighter note, I love this one. My neighbor told me my deck won't increase my assessment as long as I don't attach it to my house.
That is correct.
Is this true?
That is correct, because I asked him the same question. A couple of years ago, I put a pergola over my patio, and I said, is this going to increase my taxes? And he said, is it attached to your house? And I said, no. And he said, no, then it will not.
What a pergola, what is that?
It's kind of an overhead structure so
Okay.
that it provides some shape.
All right.
Yeah.
And Dan, with your house over there, have you ever, you recently moved into that, but did you ever challenge the assessment, or the challenge with the?
No, I mean, I bought it in 2021. It was just under 200 grand. So I think it's gone up in value.
Sure.
You get those AI generated emails from Redfin or whatever. I put up a fence. My payment was $1,300 back in 2021. Now it's $1,600.
Okay.
But I'd go to these city meetings, obviously, and the local city office holders were pretty responsible fiscally. I mean, they would lower their taxes, because of all of the new development. So I think, there's just a million moving parts with our tax bill,
Right.
and it's gone up in value. I don't know.
All right, well, that's good. That's good.
We could all use more money too.
And finally, we want to talk about financial assistance that the township provides, because I didn't realize you did all these things, Mary. The Township Supervisor Office tries to provide vital services for all members of the community in addition to financial assistance programs we offer. Now, these include semi-annual shred and recycle events, we know about that, voter registration, library services, workforce readiness assistance, periodic mobile SOS events, annual electronic recycling events, faxing and copy service, cemetery maintenance and burial plot sales, as well as notary services. So you guys are pretty busy, aren't you?
We try to, provide our residents with valuable services so they don't have to leave the community. And again, it's really important to me that they get a return on investment with those tax dollars.
And I didn't know you guys did Crime Stoppers. You guys are behind Crime Stoppers?
We do. We contribute. So the Township Code, which is kind of our Bible that we have to follow, allows us to contribute to public safety. There are some larger townships that will have like a public safety unit. We don't have the need for that, nor do we have the money, but public safety is important to us. So by contributing to Crime Stoppers, we feel that we are addressing it in a way that can maybe help reduce crime.
Okay, I missed that at the radio station. We should do the Crime Stoppers report all the time. And finally, I don't want to get into all the mogul down in the details here, but financial assistance. And again, you guys have frequently asked questions. What are the two main types of financial assistance that DeKalb Township offers? What is general assistance? But so it's there again, and you guys answer all these questions, don't you?
Yep. If an individual is unable to pay their rent or utilities, they can reach out to us. Obviously, there's qualifying factors for getting our assistance. And then an ongoing assistance program is called general assistance. That's for individuals who don't have any dependents and for one reason or another are not able to work. We can help them get by with rent, utilities, and some things. But in the meantime, we're going to have them meet with our job coach to try to address whatever barriers are preventing them from being employed so that they can be self-sufficient.
See, that's what a lot of people want, I know, because I always remember the quote, I think it's from the Bible, where you give a man a fish he can eat for a day, but teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And that's great to know that you guys have that job aspect covered as well.
Yes. And if I could mention one other thing, I was going to, when you were talking about the three different divisions, you mentioned that DeKalb Township was we were formed in 1850. So November 20th of this year, we have our 175th anniversary.
Oh,
and so on November 20th, we're going to be working with the chamber to conduct a ribbon cutting at our office, and a little reception will follow. We are exceptionally proud of the longevity of our government unit and how we've helped residents through the years, how we've evolved, and so there'll be information coming out about that event.
If you want to learn more, you can join Mary for Coffee and Conversations. Join Supervisor Mary Hess for Coffee and Conversations. The next one's coming up here on October 15th from 10 to 11, right there at the office, on 2323 South 4th Street in DeKalb.
Yep.
By Manning.
Now, I like this part. Join me and share what it's like to be a senior resident. Thanks for that, Mary. I just turned 65 of DeKalb Township. We love to see what you think and would like to see changed, right? So
yes.
What more can you ask for? It's getting feedback from the public, right?
Yes, we want to know how we can help.
All right, very good. All right, Danny, another news story? Are we all newsed out there?
I got one other thing.
Okay.
Minor. Illinois State Board of Education is inviting school leaders, teachers, parents, and community advocates to testify at fiscal year 2027 budget meetings this fall. ISB says testimony at past hearings led to increased spending in evidence-based funding, also career technical education, and other things. The first meeting is September 30th in Springfield. However, if you're nowhere near Springfield, there are virtual meetings booked for October 16th and October 21st.
Yeah, I haven't heard the word Zoom in a long time. It's kind of nice down here in the word Zoom. Quick look at sports now. We have the football teams in action. DeKalb 1 and 2 will be at Stag. Do you know Stag at all? Did your kids play football back in the day, Mark?
No, I had hockey, lacrosse, and soccer.
Hockey, lacrosse, and soccer. Oh, no. Yeah, so DeKalb's taking on Stag. DeKalb 1 and 2 against Stag 0 and 3, and they really need a win there. So I think they're going to get that. I was wondering, when the kids go to a dance at school, do they go Stag? It's a joke. Good. Stag, we're going Stag. It's a little joke.
Well, there's a stag party and then a hen party.
Oh,
like in the UK, my cousin Felicity was getting married, and she had a hen party.
Yeah, hen party.
What they call it.
And Rochelle will be at Sycamore. Sycamore, oddly, 1 and 2. That's very uncharacteristic. They haven't lost 2 games in a row since 2017, but they'll be taking on Rochelle. That's always a great matchup there. So wish the Spartans all the best. And of course, Joe Ryan retiring after this year, just a great football coach over there at Sycamore. Community calendar. Now, Mary, I'm sure you've noticed this, the artwork. We had Brad Hoy here last week talking about the artwork around the city. And boy, some of these utility boxes are beautiful.
Oh, they're stunning. I'm just in envy of people and their skills, and what a great, way to improve the look of our community by taking this existing gray box and turning it into a work of art.
Apparently, they had 50 submissions from local artists. I want to point out Doug Overton was a winner, Kristen Perovic, Liz Schulzer, Charlie Thorne, and Aaron Pinder. And then in the article I had, they have all the pictures, and the pictures are just, it's a shame we're on a podcast here, but this is my favorite, the guy with the...
The tire?
Yeah, the tire.
Yeah,
It's so
isn't
cool.
it? Yeah, so unique.
So-
I think that's just down the road here.
It is just down the road there. Yeah, so very cool indeed. So that's great to see that. Dan, you got one by your crib there? You seen one of these utility boxes that are painted?
It's the owl by FNBO. That's on Locust and First Streets.
Okay,
It's an owl, and it's very striking.
that's great to see. Again, it's wonderful work that they've done there. And then you were talking about all the great nonprofits we have, Mary, and there's a nonprofit day coming up here on September 24th at Ferranda's Banquet Center. The DeKalb County Nonprofit DNCP, with the annual conference is a full day of learning, networking, and inspiring, and space is limited to 125. Tell us about it. Are you part of this? Are you?
I have attended it, and the content that they share is incredibly valuable. The fact that we can do that offer this in our community and have skilled professionals who can share information, it's just a great event, and I think that they usually max out.
You know, Tara Russo, one of our sponsors, a proud sponsor of the thing, she says something that you echoed just a moment ago. They said if you come to the Elder Care Services office, if they can't help you, they will find the person or the agency that can. And you do the same thing at the township, don't you?
We do, and we don't just say call Elder Care Services while they're sitting in our office. We call Elder Care Services with them there to make sure that we're addressing everything and that there's, we're helping that person make that connection. And when it comes as a referral from us, carries a little more weight.
Oh, yeah, because again, when they said, well, you might try Elder Care Services, they just throw that out there. Like, I might try that. And speaking of them, they're having a fundraiser on October 17th. They're at Stand Up Comedy Night. Dan, you're going to do your 5-minute routine that you got there at the Regal Center in Sycamore. All proceeds benefit the Elder Care Services, and they are not a government agency. We'll make that clear. Event tickets sale are not refundable and will be considered a donation to ECS. So you can do that by going to marketing@ecsdekalb.org. marketing@ecsdekalb.org. Now, we also like to do the obits. Now, Mary, I was telling people when we have our guests here that I'm an old person now, and at a certain age in your life, you start reading the obituary.
Oh, I started at a young age.
Did you?
Can I back up and add one more thing to
Please, yes,
the
yeah.
events? When will this be?
This will be this coming Sunday, so the 20th.
Okay, all right. Well, this coming Saturday, Dan and Terry, you can tell your friends and family, at the township, we're hosting a tire recycling event.
Oh, yeah, because I knew it was after the event.
From 9 to noon, and that is limited to DeKalb Township residents. We will be checking IDs for that. This is not something that's happened in the community, I don't want to say ever, but not in a very long time. Normally you have to pay to have your tires recycled. So this will be a free event, and we are expecting it to be a good turnout. So another
Great, that's
event.
good. So if you're going to do it, tread lightly. It's a tire joke. I get that one in there too. So speaking of humor, I like to think that I would be humorous. I ever see some of these great posts where people have, like Merv Griffin has, I won't be back after this commercial break. I was left to that one. But Ryan Hill, unfortunately passed away. Ryan Vern Hill, Vern to those who knew him. The obit starts this way. Vern Hill, of 52 of Sycamore, passed away, likely to avoid another disappointing White Sox season. Oh, so how great is that you throw that in there as well? Ryan grew up at a time when neighbors were your best friends and stayed that way. Summers spent at Sycamore Park with his dad coaching Little League, like you, Dan. And his mom was everybody's mom. As a member of Sycamore class of 91, his quest was to be the most talkative. Now, I was deemed the most talkative in my high school. Three-sport athlete, played football, third base, and got so many rebounds in basketball, they nicknamed him Glass Plus. That was his nickname, Glass Plus. Like all retired athletes in Sycamore, Ryan found his way to the 6-inch softball league. He was known for having the largest hands anyone's ever seen. Taught his daughters how to ski and did TikTok dances with them. And this is what I love about him. He believed in family and dogs with big hearts and even bigger paws, and cheering the Sox and the Bears no matter the heartbreak. And he believed in showing up, because showing up is how you build a community. So this guy really sounded special. Did you know this gentleman by chance?
No, but I read that last night and was just so touched by it. It sounds like he was a wonderful individual, and it's a shame that
It is. It's such a young age there, but it sounds like he lived every minute of his life. And then here's yet another humorous obituary, Stanley Trail, aka Stanley M. Trail. after a not particularly courageous battle with old age, lost his struggle and died at Oakcrest Retirement Center on September 13th. So again, a little levity. I'm not going to handle old age well. I know they can put that in mind too, because I'm not going to be able to deal with that well. The third son of working immigrant parents. I love that too. And all the thing we're going through, all the immigrants, we're just hardworking people, and raised 3 hardworking sons. He entered the Army in the 1950 to 51. The fall, now he was a mathematician at the Mathematician Department of Sycamore at Northern Illinois University, later became the Department of Mathematics Sciences, and then later the Statistics Department. He retired from NIU in 95. In 66, there's no more humor. He and Ann Caitlin Davis, after a very long time after they first met, were married in Bartville, Oklahoma. Stan and Ann, and they came to DEKALB to raise their 3 daughters. At times, he was a member, now get this, Institute of Math Statistics, American Statistics Association, American Psychology Association, the American Education Research Association, and the Mathematical Association of America. Also supported Westminster Presbyterian Church in DEKALB and enjoyed skiing and racquetball. And the last thing, he was an M1 sharpshooter and later became a pacifist. How interesting is that? Though he's somewhat slight in stature, no one ever stole his lunch money. No one ever kicked sand in his face. He was of Scottish descent, and he didn't really know what an app was. Right there with him. Sometimes he did not completely understand a New York cartoon, and he was not particularly timid when faced a risky situation. And I always say my life revolves around a Seinfeld episode. Ever see the one where Elaine challenges the guy, the cartoon in the New Yorker? It's classic because they have these dry little cartoons. So there's an episode where Elaine actually goes to New Yorker and says, "Why is this funny?" And the guy can't explain why it's supposed to be funny. Now, Dan's going to do a news quiz. We're going to get a little news quiz going here. But we also like to do the birthdays. And Dan will get that news quiz ready. I'll tell you that birthday's coming up. We have on the 21st, Doug Stist of Sycamore will have a birthday. Kurt Matson of Hinckley will have a birthday. Do you know Kurt?
No.
A chance? Also, we have anniversary Ron and Mary Reynolds. Will be married 30 years in DEKALB on the 23rd, and Ella Baker of DEKALB will be 10 years old on the 26th. Now, our good friends over at the DEKALB County History Center, they were kind enough to send us over this date in history every week. And again, we encourage people to go to DEKALBCountyHistory.org and find out all the stuff. You've been over there, Mayor, with the DEKALB County History Center? Just amazing place there.
It's been several years. Last time I was there was in the fall, and they were doing an event with apples and making apple cider.
Yeah,
and
very cool.
Yep.
Well, in September of 1834, William Seabury, considered DEKALB's first settler, permanently located in DEKALB County, settled what is now Squaw Grove Township. There he built a temporary shelter of poles, which he covered with bark taken from Indian wigwams, and lived there with his family until he built a small log home. The city of DEKALB celebrated the opening of the college with a huge dedication. I was just reading about this, the trains that ran. You know, there used to be trains in Sycamore?
Sycamore.
Yeah, Sycamore had their own trains. That's why. That's why the train depot was there.
Yeah.
But we had Steve Brazier with us here, and Dan and I were complaining of all the trains that go through DEKALB, and we go, "Mr. Mayor, do you have a problem with that in Sycamore?" He goes, "We don't have a train. We don't have a train." But they did have a train, and all people came to the opening of the NIU University back in 1899. Over 10,000 people showed up and got there, most of them by train. 1975, DEKALB City Council voted down the revised cable television franchise ordinance that would have raised the monthly cost from $5.25 to $7.25 a month.
The good old days.
The Crown of Commerce dubbed the dispute the cable wars. One councilman said Warner wants more money for rotten service. We have a rotten franchise. He said, I won't get all the details on that. But we thank our friends over there at the DEKALB County History Center providing that, because those that don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But you're a big history buff, Mary, with all the education you have. You don't have time for history.
I suppose I picked the history that I'm interested in learning more about.
How the township started in 1840. You know what that looked like?
1870.
Or 1870, or she corrected me already. But it was just a single person or 2 people, or what the?
We're doing research on township history currently.
Okay.
So
because you're going to have your anniversary coming up.
Yes. So we're going to be on our social media. We'll be putting out tidbits about different township history over the course of the next 2 months.
Okay, very good. All right, Dan, you got a trivia question. I'm very happy to report, too, that our friends over at Stagecoach Players Theater are going to provide us now with tickets to give away for our giveaway. That will be, we'll have to wait for their next production that's coming up in October. I want to thank Tim Ball and the gang over there at Stagecoach Players Theater. Check them out at stagecoachplayers.org. and all the great plays that they put on. And
T-Bone, what are you giving away?
so again, next time we'll have tickets to the play, but right now we have two passes to our friends there at Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more. So you get 2 coupons from Pizza Villa when you play the news podcast trivia question.
A man was cited for not having these on his truck.
Good one.
What would those be?
All right, if you can tell us what that is, contact me at tdryan2001@yahoo.com. Again, tdryan2001@yahoo.com, and we will give you those 2 passes to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more. I want to thank John Finn again for doing that. And Mary, I see also you have something coming up on October 2nd, the Fair Housing for All, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. there at the Township, 2323 South DeKalb. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we are partnering with some other organizations to bring this event to the community. In recent years, a law was made that landlords cannot discriminate to potential tenants based on what how their rent will be paid. So some people, pay it out of pocket. Other people rely on government assistance to get their rent paid. And so this is just going to go over what those laws are. This is not intended only for tenants, but for landlords as well, so that they understand, because if they discriminate and, someone contacts an attorney, we don't want that to happen to any of our property owners. So we're trying to educate everyone about this.
Now, we saw that in Sycamore. I'm just curious because when it comes to Section 8, you don't have to say, I want to build an apartment building. Do I have to allow Section 8 people in? And again, this isn't your forte per se, but how does that break down in terms of, am I required to?
Well, I think that there can be.
I'm sure it's a gray area there.
Right, but you can't not solely based on that.
Okay.
If a person does have a voucher, the housing authority is going to go into that unit and make sure it meets all HUD standards. So, there are some units in this community that would never meet those standards. And then the housing voucher has to, the value of it has to meet what that person, the landlord, would be charging for rent. The landlord's not expected to make a loss.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm looking forward to learning more about this because
This is great,
I don't have all the answers.
Now, I see here you can do it via Zoom, right? Or,
Yes.
I'm assuming if you can't make this, you guys could make an appointment for it at a different time, right?
Well, we're going to record it. And so and we have a YouTube channel, so it'll be put on that so that if
Aren't
people...
you fancy?
We're trying to get up with the times. Trying to keep up with you.
It's October 7th from 11 to 12:30 there in person at the DeKalb Township, 2323 South 4th Street in DeKalb, or via Zoom. And you got the link with the QR code.
Yes, and that is on our website. If someone wants to get the link to the Zoom, they can access that through our website.
All right, very good. So what do you want to say? I was very naive about the township when it came in. I was, all about consolidating things. And then you came in, the WLBK, and you explained to me what the township does, but very few people, you talk about budget all the time, right? Keeping it to a minimum and keeping your staff and personnel to a minimum too, right?
Yep, we are a small staff in my department. I have 4 individuals that work for me. 2 of them work in our financial assistance department, and then 2 work for general township services. I think one of the things that has benefited me is that I have a background in not-for-profits. That's where I have always worked, where we don't have a lot of money.
Right.
And so I'm used to doing events in the most affordable way possible. And I have tried to continue that with the work that I do at the township. The majority of the community events that we do don't cost us money, but yet they're a value to our residents. So when I came into the township, I started in 2020. I was appointed to a vacant trustee position, and that's kind of when I started learning about townships. For a 20-some year history of working in not-for-profits, I didn't understand what townships did. I didn't understand that you could send people there for rental assistance. So it's a tremendous value, and so when I got into office, I wanted to spread the word, and I think that my staff and I have done a tremendous job of that. we'll set up a table here at the library. You'll find us at the farmer's market. You'll find us at various food pantries around. Not that we're trying to give out money, but, when people are in a crisis and they, can have a solution, then that, if they have children at home, that benefits the children. If they're working and they don't have to miss work, we try to think about a person in a comprehensive way so that we can help them and their family.
And teach them how to fish instead of just giving them a fish.
Exactly,
Give them
yeah.
a fish and teach them how to fish.
Right, because our programs are for rental and utility assistance. You can only get that once in a 12-month period. And if you come back for the second year, we're going to reduce it by 20%. That's next year, 40%. And once you use it 5 times, you can't get it anymore. Really?
Okay. That's good to know. Well, you've been enlightening us again. You've enlightened us very much. And on a personal note, I want to thank you because every Let's Talk Turkey and Free Sweet Food, which, by the way, we're doing again this year.
Oh, wonderful.
Mary Hess has been there every time, so we want to thank you for that, Mary.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you
November
for what you
21st
do.
is going to be Let's Talk Turkey at the Salvation Army, and then December 4th, 5th, and 6th will be at Hy-Vee there doing Freezing for Food. So
Okay.
we always see you there, so we thank you so much for that.
Yes. And if we at the township can help spread the word about it, please share that information with us and we'll put it.
We're going to take you up on that.
All right. Fantastic.
All right, Lieutenant Dan, I want to thank you as always so much for all the work that you do, buddy, and appreciate what you do. And we have a little final send off. What do you got to say?
I am ready for fall.
All right.
I hate summer. I'm tired of the hot weather. So I want some cooler air.
Old grouchy Dan there, and that's TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 17. TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zymet, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zymet and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsurancegyguy.com. And Elder Care Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org.